Greetings everyone! I hope you feel great today. This is me Beverly Talorete, and introducing to you as well Miss Robbie Jane Pau, Miss Marilee Castel, and Miss Kathleen Sagliba. So for today's video, we are going to answer some questions about plant anatomy and physiology. So without further ado, let's get started.
Good day, everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Belju and Dison. Good day, Ma'am. I am Marilee Castel, assigned to answer the question number 1, 2, and 3 in CAF 2 Botany Task Performance in Lesson 4. So, question number 1. What is the difference between plant anatomy and plant physiology? Discuss thoroughly. Plant anatomy and plant physiology have main difference to each other through of what study the focus. Plant anatomy, it is the study of elaborated internal structure of plants by their cellular and molecular degree and their roles or functions, and determination of classification of the plant, including the identifying ways which these structures can be used in industry and in terms of medicine. This plant anatomy is very useful. On the contrary, plant physiology is the views or the looks into the interior activities of plant. It includes the chemical and physical processes with a vegetative development of plant, seasonal changes together with the dormancy and flowering, and reproduction control. In case of determining the best manner through which crops can be cared for, and in developing ways to secure or ensure the conservation of certain species, this plant physiology is most useful and essential. And that's all about the question number 1. Let's proceed to question number 2. Question number 2. Enumerate and discuss the function of major plant parts. Major plant parts are the roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits with their functions. Functions of roots are responsible in absorbing water and minerals from soil, stores food for future use, produces plant growth hormones, anchor of the plant fixedly to the soil, and provides support, and last, develop new plants from the roots of the old one. Next, the stems. Stems are responsible in structure of the plants, which are providing strength and support to buds, flowers, leaves, and fruits, storing food mainly in the form of starch, transporting food, water, and minerals to all parts of the plant body, and developing new plants from the stem of the old plant. The next is the leaves. The functions of leaves responsible in forming food for the plant together with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water through photosynthesis process. Its help in reproduction includes in bryopylum, which is a group of sprout-leaf plants, and also in evaporation from the aerial parts of the plant throughout transpiration. Next is the flowers. Flowers are responsible in helping the sexual reproduction of plants and stimulating the pollination, and especially in the fertilization of the ovule. The last is the fruits. The functions of fruits are responsible to protect the seeds, help to disperse seeds, and thus in plant production. The parts of fruits have different functions, but they all work in combination to provide distinct advantages in plant growth and survival. And that's all the question number 2. Next is the question number 3. Question number 3. What are the parts of the shoot system and the root system? Vascular plants having two distinct organ systems, which are the shoot system and the root system. The shoot system originally grows above ground, where it is responsible in absorbing light needed for photosynthesis process. The parts that a shoot system consists are the stems, leaves, and the reproductive parts of the plant that are flowers and fruits. Then, in the root system, which is supporting the plants and absorbing water and minerals, posited usually underground. The parts of the root system are root apex, primary and secondary root. And that's my answer in question number 3. And now I'm done my part. Let's move to the next with my group mate. Thank you and God bless.
Number 4. What is the difference between xylem and phloem? Describe the movement of substances in xylem and phloem. In the stem, there are two responsible for carrying on water, nutrients, and food for plant life. These are the xylem and phloem. The xylem is the plant tissue that carries the water and minerals upward to the plant. The phloem, on the other hand, also a plant tissue, carries glucose from the leaves to the roots, which is downward. This process is called transportation. So xylem and phloem are the transport form, a continuous tube, like a row in a plant where it runs in the whole plants because they are responsible for transportation. Xylem vessels have a wooden materials in their walls called the lignin, and are made of elongated dead cells, which make plant hard to pull out from the ground, or when they pulled out, they are intact because the vascular bundles are in the center, making them tough. If xylem vessels are made of elongated dead cells, the phloem is opposite. They are made of living cells transporting sucrose and amino acids upward and downwards inside a plant. Number 5. What is annual growth ring? Annual growth ring are the circular rings found on the end of a log or tree stump. Each set of rings signifies 1 year growth. Each year of growth has two distinct growing seasons, the spring and summer. In spring, trees take advantage of all the moisture in the soil and conduct large capacities of sap.
Question number 6 is describe each the internal structure of the leaf. The first is epidermal cells, palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll, stomata, and guard cells. Epidermal cell is a cell found in the organism's outer layer. Skin cells, for example, are epidermal in humans, plant leaves, feature epidermal layers on both the top and the bottom of the leaf. Palisade cells are plant cells that are found in the leaves just beneath the epidermis and cuticles. They are known as leaf cells in layman's words. They are vertically elongated, unlike the spongy mesophyll cells beneath them. The spongy mesophyll is made up of irregularly shaped cells with large gaps between them to allow for carbon dioxide transport and gas exchange through the stomata. Chloroplasts, which are responsibly the photosynthesis, are found in the spongy mesophyll. A stomata, also known as a stomate in botany, is a pore located in the epidermis of leaves, stems, and other organs that regulates the rate of gas exchange. The whole is surrounded by a pair of specialized parenchyma cells known as guard cells, which regulate the size of the stomatal opening. Guard cells are specialized plant cells that govern gas exchange in the epidermis of leaves, stems, and other organs. They occur in pairs with a space between them forming the stomatal pore.
Number 7. What is role of photosynthesis in plants and why it is important? Plants are autotrophs, which means they produce their own food. The use process of photosynthesis to transform water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide into oxygen and simple sugars that the plant uses as fuel. These primary producers form the base of an ecosystem and fuel the next trophic levels. Without this process, life on Earth as we know it would not be possible. We depend on plants for oxygen production and food. So photosynthesis is important on plants because it allowed them to take a glucose which is needed to make energy and cellular structure.
Question number 8 is explain water movement of plants. So, long distance water transport is critical for land plant viable. Although plants' tolerance for water differences varies greatly, they all have limitations beyond which extenses is no longer viable. Water can account up for 80% of the fresh weight of leaves. A leaf can evaporate 100% of its water weight is an hour on a dry, warm, sunny day. Water loss from the leaves must be offset by water uptake from the soil. Water movement is also vital for mineral nutrient uptake from the soil. Mineral nutrient defenses such as nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus are frequently restricting to plant growth, which is why fertilizers are frequently given to the soil to boost growth.
Number 9. What are the factors needed for plant growth? So the factors needed for plant growth are water, sunlight, oxygen, carbon dioxide, temperature, and nutrients. So first, let's talk about the water. Plants get most of the water through their roots. Some small quantities are also obtained through the stems. Plants should be watered all day through the root zone to encourage root growth. Plants should be grown in pots with drainage holes so that water can drain and allow oxygen to the root zone. The next growth factor is sunlight. Plants need the colors blue and red to activate chlorophyll. Light bulbs are deficient in the color blue, and fluorescent tubes are deficient in color red. Special grow lights are made that carry the correct blue and red wavelengths, and light intensity is measured in foot candles. The next plant growth factor is carbon dioxide. So it's needed by the plant for photosynthesis, and it is obtained through the stomata. The next growth factor is oxygen. It is needed by the plant for respiration. It is obtained by the roots. Next growth factor is temperature. High soil temperature is more crucial as damage to the roots is severe, resulting in substantial reduction in shoot growth. And lastly, the nutrients. Plants need nutrients for the same reasons that animals need them. They need them to germinate, grow, fight off diseases and pests, and to reproduce. Like animals, nutrients are needed in larger, smaller or trace amounts for the plant to stay healthy. Number 10. Give at least 5 plant hormones and discuss each. So plant hormones are the growth regulators naturally produced by the plant, such as auxins, cytokinins, ethylene, gibberellins, and subsicic acid. So first, let's talk about auxins. Auxins are the growth hormones produced by the apical meristem. They encourage height growth and discourage lateral growth. Auxin means to enlarge or increase. They induce cell division, differentiation, and elongation. Then the cytokinins. These are produced in roots and seeds and are responsible for cell division and differentiation. Plant-specific chemical messengers or hormones that play a central role in the regulation of the plant cell cycle and numerous developmental processes. Next is ethylene. These are produced by ripening fruit. It stimulates flowering and ripening. An unsaturated hydrocarbon gas acting naturally as a plant hormone. It is the simplest alkene gas and is the first gas known to act as hormone. And then gibberellins. These are produced in stems, roots, and young leaves. They are responsible for intermodal elongation. Plant growth regulators that facilitate cell elongation help the plants to grow taller. They also play major roles in germination, elongation of the stem, fruit ripening, and flowering. And lastly, the abscisic acid. These are found in seeds, a hormone which inhibits growth. Plant hormone that regulates numerous aspects of plant growth, development, and stress responses.